Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, fun day. Thank you so much for joining me again.
And thanks for inviting
Hi.
me.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love this. And I have to shout out to Lori. I talked a little bit about Lori before we went live. And Lori, I've been seeing Lori on lives for quite a while. And she's a very loyal customer of mine as well in my Etsy shop. And she's just absolutely amazing. And I follow her and on social media, and she has so many fun. She's been going to some fun places here lately, as you have as well, right?
Yeah, welcome, Lori. I will have to check you out if I'm not already following you.
And so we're going to be working with Jesse James Bead's Magical Mystery Bead Box for the month of September, and it is the Wizard of Oz. And Sarah James and I had been texting about another project that you will see Stacie and I together again as well. Yep, there's the Wizard of Oz, that gorgeous graphic card.
Yeah.
Love it. And so we're going to show a few pieces that we did on our own. I'm going to bring in some silver silk. Again, Sarah and I were chit-chatting about Winter Workshop, and you're going to see Stacie and I. Yes, Stacie and I will be with the lovely dynamic duo from Softlex Company, Kristen and Sarah, and we're going to be doing, I don't know if it's going to be Zoom yet. We've kind of been, hinting that around if it's going to be Zoom or if we're just going to do it like this with StreamYard. I love doing the StreamYard. I mean, the Zoom.
Yeah, it is fun.
The Zoom is fun. You get to see everybody, and they see you when you're on StreamYard, but it's just I don't know, it's just different when I can see everybody else that is seeing me. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited too. We're going to have a fun bead party with lots of projects and lots of fun.
Yes. And Winter Workshop, Lori, if you haven't checked out Winter Workshop, it's a little different this year. It's more about the gift giving. Isn't that what it's about? I think that's what it is. We're doing more like what you can give away for gifts. And so it's a little different. But again, it's packed. Oh my goodness. The strand that I'm working with is off the chart. The bead mix that Stacie is working with is off the chart, and your piece is stunning. I love it.
Thank you. It's up on my page. It was, and it's up on Jesse James' website under their events category. So if you click on events, you can actually see a lot of the pieces from the upcoming Winter Workshop and all the instructors that are going to be there. So I think it's 10 projects and then our bead party.
Yes.
Where there will be at least 4 different pieces being made.
Yes. So we have 3 mixes and 1 bead strand, and it's going to be awesome. And she has been stalking. Lori has been stalking, and she hasn't signed up, but sure she will. Awesome. Great. Maybe I know that when Sarah does live sales, she'll do free shipping sometimes on those live sales. And I don't know if it's free shipping even now, just without even going through the live, Lori, but we hope to see you there. And also during that conversation, Sarah was asking, hey, are you and Stacie? Is this going to be a thing? And I'm like, yes, sure. This is a thing. So, and I haven't been able to share this with you yet, Stacie, but she has offered to provide us with beads and anything that we need.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And
the Jennifer and Stacie show.
I love it, and she loves it. And I hope that she, if she can't catch us live, I hope she can catch us on replay, because you can watch this on replay as well. And so she asked if this was going to be a thing. I told her, yes, this is going to be a thing. And so she generously offered to provide us with beads and stuff. So you and I will be in touch about that.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to be bringing that. Yeah. And then what else did we talk about? We talked about, we just talk about beads, and we talk about, I am getting close to 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube.
Very
So
cool.
I will be working with Jesse James Beads and some of my other favorite vendors, companies that I get beads and supplies from, and we will have a large giveaway. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I don't know. Do you do giveaways? Because you've been doing live Instagram.
I have done a couple of them.
Okay.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing one soon. I
Yeah. So they're
need to think through
fun.
what that's going to look like. So stay tuned.
So and I hope that you guys can join us because I will be sure to do that 3,000 that 3,000 subscriber giveaway. We'll do that on one of these lives here. And somehow I'm going to have a moderator that knows StreamYard, that can work that giveaway. It's you put in a hashtag and use a code that we use, and then it automatically all the
So
comments
picks
that
one.
have that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So where
I bet
can you?
Colleen would be a good one.
I know. I am going to grab you right now, Lori. I am going to grab you Stacie's Instagram page, and I am going to do that now. I'm sorry that I'm doing that just like this, but
You're fine.
let me copy that. I'm going to paste it in the comments, Lori. There you go. All right. So I'm going to bring in our mats.
Okay,
We have
let's
some
do that.
overhead mats, and I'm going to leave it like this for a little bit and then switch it over to where you're on yours only, and we'll do a little bit of the what's it called, like showcasing. So let's see if I can bring in. Let's do this. And it's not. There we go.
What's going on there, my friend?
There we go.
Oh.
So this is, tell us about this piece.
I can start with this one. So the top red one is, oh my goodness. Let me look at the card. I'll tell you which strand it was.
The Tin Man.
It was the Tin Man bead strand.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally just added some paper clip chain. Let me shift this here. In between some beaded segments.
Yeah.
And then I did a little, so this bottom piece here is wire wrapped. And then I'm a fan of all things sari silk, and this is the other one. Oh my God, fairy silk.
Mm-hmm.
Brain's not working here. And yeah, and so I love the hearts and the red, and I thought it was a lot of fun. And these are actually just done on beading wire. And I love this. This was actually on the strand. These are a bunch of little spacer beads put together to look kind of like a little ball bead. I thought that was really clever.
Yes, it is very clever. I love it.
So I kept that as I pulled it into the design. It's kind of a longer piece.
Oh, that's so pretty.
I'm going to move this here. Both of mine are long, so they're not going to want to fit under the camera super well on that one.
Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous.
So this was the Emerald City. And this was this long tassel here. Let me get it so it doesn't look like funky. Okay, I'll stop touching it now.
So pretty.
Yeah, so pulled, and this is all done mostly on just beading wire. And I love, this was my favorite part, these little caged beads.
Yes.
And there's a little like green AB finished star that's inside there. I thought that was so cool.
I thought so too, because usually the bead, the crystal is inside the actual cage, and this one is a little different.
Yeah,
where
you had to actually string it if you wanted it to stay in there.
Yeah, that is so stunning. I love it.
And then this chain,
yes,
this kind of like crystal beaded chain,
yeah,
was in the box, and I just really loved it.
Yes.
And actually, last but not least, I'll pull them out. I actually have them on today.
Oh, yes, your clusters.
Yeah, so I actually just snagged one of those little, the little emerald crystals off the beaded chain
Uh-huh.
and used that. And I love the poppies and then just some clusters at the bottom. I thought they were kind of fun.
That is so pretty.
Yeah.
We have Lena here, Lena Gillespie
Hey,
Design.
Lena.
Lori, yes, Lori, if you haven't catched up with Lena on her social media and all of her designs, and she has an Etsy shop as well, go check her out because Lena is incredibly, incredibly talented. She's amazing. So thank you, Lena, for being here.
Shall we check out what you've got going, Jen?
Yes, let's go ahead. And I've got a lot going on. I've got kind of overload here because I basically have the entire Magical Mystery Bead Box here on my mat, and I am going to just take some of them away. But I am just in awe with this Magical Mystery Bead Box, and you'll hear me plug it all the time because it's just incredible. And I think today I'm going to be using the Wicked Witch, or the Witch of the West. And there's so many other little bead mixes. And I looked a couple of days ago, and the Magical Mystery Bead Box, the extras, or the extra bead box, was available on the website. I will share the pieces that I made so far as well. Here's that Emerald City strand with that chunk-a-monk that Stacie used. And here are those cage beads where there's no crystal tapped inside. You have the strand. And so it's a star with those little two tiny little crystals in there. And just a beautiful strand. I'm really bad about cutting up strands. I don't like cutting up strands at all. And yeah, it's really, yeah. And then here is the Tin Man in its entirety. And this is that cluster of the like daisy spacers,
Yeah.
or I know Maria calls them the sheriff badges.
Oh.
Yeah, and so those are all clustered together. There's what, 3 in there? 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, with like bead cap on top of it. And so it's just beautiful. Yeah. And so we have that, and I'll share some of my pieces. And if you are a Magical Mystery Bead Box subscriber, then you saw these too, because when you click the little QR code that's on the card that Stacie shared, it will take you to the 3 designs that I did. Now, what I did here was, I'm going to start with the necklace. So sorry. I use that beautiful tassel. It's just stunning. And I used one of those clear iridescent type beads. It has that AB finish in it. And then one of these flower beads that are actually 4 holes. Can either go right to left or north to south. And
yeah, those poppies I think they're like cloisonne poppies. They were super cool.
So pretty. And then I just did a little bit of wire wrapping. And then what I did is I have some soft flex beading wire here, and I have wire guardians to protect the wire. And what I did was I put a crimp tube down here at the bottom because I didn't have access. I couldn't find a good seed bead to put in between. So I put a crimp tube. I thought, okay, that works. Just to hold it to where my metal tassel piece is not going up against the wire. And then I used beads from, I think I used beads from the Cowardly Lion strand. And that gorgeous chain that you used, kind of the Emerald City strand. And this is linked. And what I did was, and this is an over the head, so there's no clasp. I did long as well. And so what I did was, to make sure that my my beaded chain finished and started at the same side, I ended up cutting into one of the links. And so what I did was I made charms with them.
That's what I did on the earrings too.
Yeah. And so it's so easy just because on the links have 2 loops on each side. So I cut one of the loops off, and then all I did was just take, I think I used a popsicle stick and just kind of folded it over, and then I nail filed it, and then used some of the beads from, I think I used some from Emerald City strand because this isn't a full strand. So I made those earrings, and the third piece was using Dorothy's mix. And so I made a little bit of cluster down here at the bottom and made a bracelet. And I too used some of that paperclip chain, that good old Jessie James Beads paperclip chain.
Exactly.
And I used that for an extender. So it could be a shorter bracelet or a longer bracelet. So that's what we did. Now, what I'm going to bring in is I am going to bring in some pipe chain. I'm going to use pipe chain from Silver Silk and More. And these 2 colors were actually created for this box. And there's this emerald kind of dark hunter green pipe chain. Then this one here has a pink pipe in the middle. So it's a silicone piping with wire knitted around it. I think this wire is silver.
That's kind of cool.
And so I love the pipe chain. I don't know if you've used pipe chain before.
I've done a couple of things.
Yeah, I really like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pair of earrings, because in these mixes, sometimes you'll find these large hole beads like this one here, right? That you can fit your silver silk through.
Oh, how cool.
But I'm going to use this one, this dark one. And I think I'm going to use it with the green. Isn't that pretty? And yeah, so I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to make a pair of earrings using that. And then I'm going to use these crystal rondelles as dangles. And you say use them as dangles? Yeah, I made some jump rings, some gunmetal jump rings out of some, I think I used 20 gauge. This is 20 gauge soft flex craft wire. And so I think I used the 18 gauge on that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump ring them through the center and have them dangle off for the earring. How's that sound?
Very cool.
And not sure if I'm just going to do the standard teardrop, or I made a pair of earrings, and it's Nile's design that I stole, but I did that knot. It's like a double knot, and then added a dangle to the bottom. These are like my favorite pair of earrings ever.
Oh, that is cool.
And so I tied a knot and then tied another knot and then joined it up at the top with his custom finding. And yeah, so I think I might do something like that too. We'll see. All right. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go down to Stacie's mat, because she's been preparing her item that she's going to be making, her piece that she's going to be making.
Yeah, so one of the things that I realized I haven't done in a really long time is like a bar necklace.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to do a ton of them, and I love doing them. And they have a little bit of structure. But for whatever reason, I haven't done one in a while. So I have, this is the Witch of the North. So I've got the Good Witch.
Yes.
And it's a really cool set. I really like a lot of the pink beads, and then there's a lot of these kind of gray sparkly ones in here. So a really pretty set. And I was thinking I would do a bar necklace with some of this. I need to check on some of these holes are on the smaller side, so I've got to see what what gauge wire I'm going to go with. Because the heavier gauge that you use, so the smaller number, the more structure it'll have, but you also have to make sure it goes through your beads.
Good point.
So I was going to check that out, and this is gold. I normally like to go with 18, but I think I'm pushing my luck.
I know sometimes they just don't, it doesn't go through the 18.
Yeah.
And I want it to, and I try to. And how many beads have you broken by trying to force?
I haven't usually done that. I've just realized it's not happening and to move on.
Oh,
this one's pretty small. Let me see. I don't know if I have a 20. I have a 22.
I'm pretty bad. I will try to force.
I have 18 in silver.
Yes, Lori.
Hasn't even pulled out of the package. Look at that.
Oh my goodness. Lori says she loves the pipe chain. Hi, Cynthia.
Sorry for all the racket. This thing is fresh out of the bag. It doesn't want to come out. My goodness.
You're good. You're good. Thank you, Cynthia, for joining. We're just getting started with the designing, and we are on Stacie's design, and she's got something really good planned out.
Yeah, it does fit, Jen.
Yay!
So I'm going to go with the 18 because it just holds its shape better after I've destroyed everything I laid out. So yeah, I'm going to go with the 18. Quick into a new spool here. I use silver a lot more, so this gold has probably been sitting for a little bit. So yeah, I'm just gonna put this piece back. Here's where it comes off. This could prove to be interesting. The 18 doesn't usually go bonkers when you open
it. Doesn't. Yes, you're right.
It's, and that's a little more rigid.
That's how I buy mine too. I've started getting mine with the big spools too.
I think they even have a bigger one. Yeah. So if you just hang on to it, it doesn't usually go bonkers. Otherwise, like with the smaller stuff, it goes flying everywhere.
Yes, it does.
I think I'll just cut a piece.
Okay, I think I have my beads.
This one also has the nice little hole here. So
yes.
You can actually just not get it tangled on your cords. You can send it through there. And then it just stays without unspooling because that drives me crazy. So basically, I just need to straighten this wire out a little bit. I'm going to see if I can get some of these kinks out. I may have to sacrifice the end here, which is okay.
I am going to do a little bit of wire wrapping.
So I'm just trying to get this wire straightened out. Was able to get this end here straightened too, so I think it will be okay to use. So when I do a bar necklace,
yes,
I typically wire wrap on the ends. And I'm not seeing what I'm looking. Oh, because it's right in front of me. I typically will use a bail making pliers instead of a round nose pliers on the end, so that I can then stick things on later.
Yes.
Whether it's a chain or a ribbon, or you can even add strung beads on bead wire as well. Probably go with the second smallest, this one here.
So Cynthia is asking, what is a bar, bracelet, or necklace? So
it is basically a necklace or a bracelet. I don't have an example on my desk, which is amazing because if you saw what I had here, literally is like its own personal jewelry store. It is basically where instead of using bead stringing wire, you're stringing your beads onto wire. And I like to use the German style wire, and I typically like to use 18 gauge. I've even used 16 or 14 if I was using a lot of beads or really heavy beads. And what it does is it just kind of keeps its shape. And so you can bend it into, kind of something circular that sits around your neck, and it'll hold its shape. So that's really what that means. It's not anything that fancy. So,
Oh, I do have my bracelet that we made the last time. I have it here.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
where
good.
I used 18 gauge and then did wire wrapping around it. So Cynthia, go check out the last live that Stacie and I did a month ago, and you'll see the technique I used. And I stole the technique from Gem Hawks. But I love this bracelet, so be sure to go check out that live as well.
Yeah, that is a good example as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have one too, a bracelet as well.
I never knew that they were called bar bracelets.
I've heard bar necklace. I assume the bracelet. I mean, because this is one too. This is one I did at Beads and Blooms, and this is a Gem Hawks design. And this was a little bit fancier because I'm not planning on doing fancy wire wrapping with herringbone design on the beads today, but you can get as fancy as you want. And I think, Jen, on yours, you had made your own clasp as well, like this.
Yes.
So you can do that, or you can be lazy and you can just use a regular already made clasp. So,
yeah, I think, you know what? I did use an already made one. I made 2 bracelets like this, and one I did a little hook, and this one I did not for the sake of time.
Okay. Then I'm remembering the one that you shared.
Yeah. So there's examples on that one. Cynthia.
Sorry, I just realized I wasn't on. Yeah, so I just made, a loop around there. I wanted it a little bigger than what around those pliers would have given me.
Mm-hmm.
And just wrap that. And I can do that right here. I don't know, I'm pulling it back. I wrapped those by hand today, and they're a little bit awkwardly spaced. So I'm just scooching them closer together. And I keep putting my tools down in weird places, so I have to go find them. So I'm just gonna trim that off. I'm gonna hold it today, so I don't have to go hunting for that later. And then tuck in the little end piece. Oh, that didn't tuck.
Nice.
Went the other way.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why it doesn't want to tuck on me.
Yes, Cynthia, I love Gem. Gem is amazing.
Yeah, so I have my wrap loop on one end, and then I just need to string my beads on. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
check
That's
first.
Nice.
So these have the littlest hole, and they go on, so we're good.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know, Jen, if you want to start showing yours, and I can put the beads on, and we can come back.
That sounds perfect. Okay, let me get over to moi. Let's see if I can, there we go. All right, so what I've done so far is I cut 2 4-inch pieces. And Cynthia, in the beginning I shared, I am using some of the pipe chain from Silver Silk and More. And pipe chain is like a rubber silicone tubing that Neelay Patel, he is the owner, designer, and educator of Silver Silk and More. And he creates a color pattern, a color palette for each Magical Mystery Bead box every month. And he has some incredible designs too. And with this pipe chain, you can, which I don't think I really got into, but you can actually stuff it with wire. And this is 16 gauge wire. And I've got that stuffed in there. You can stuff it with beading wire. You can, even if you have maybe like a 0.5 millimeter leather cording, you can do that as well. And so, and each one is a little different. These are very flexible, these ones are. And what I like to do when I make bracelets is, oh, and I think I have one. I do. I made this bracelet on a live with Danielle Wicks. And what I did was I just cut sections of the pipe chain, and this is memory wire. So I don't know if you've ever seen this, type of pipe chain, Cynthia, but I just did some, I can't remember what we called these, beaded beads. And I just did some wire wrapping and then added some seed beads onto those, and then just quick, easy little bracelet using that pipe chain as kind of elongates. Also too, if you don't have a lot of beads, you don't have to add more beads in between. And it just makes your beaded beads stand out, but then it also lets your pipe chain stand out too. So that's what I'm using. And I made some jump rings using some gunmetal. I have a hair that's in my mouth. I'm so sorry. And it's driving me crazy because I don't know where it's coming from. There it is. Okay. Good old live TV, right? I made some jump rings, and I used those same 6-step bell making pliers so that I know that I'm making them all the same size. And what I'm going to do is use some of his custom findings, and I'm using the gunmetal, or he might call them dark rhodium. And these have little teeth inside. And I've always used them for capture chain, but as he has developed different chains within his line of knitted wire, then come to find out, look at that, it fits right in there. And so that's what I'm going to do. But before I clamp down on that, I am using some of the beads from the Witch of the West. And this is one of the bead mixes from the Jessie James Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box for September. And some of these beads have a large enough hole where I can fit my silver silk through. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a jump ring as kind of a little spacer. And then I am going to, I took one of the crystal rondelle spacers and added a jump ring to it. And then I'm going to connect that to the, well, I'm going to string it on my earring as well. Oh, and that's what I'm making. I'm making earrings. I don't think I really shared that. So now what I'm going to do is string that on. So kind of different with how to use the crystal rondelle spacers, but I kind of dig it. Now, if I want, you like it?
I do.
Now, what I can do is if I don't have these custom caps, I can also just wire wrap as well. And so I think the second one I'll go ahead and use some wire too. And then I made some dangles with the with some head pins that I had, and with those little kind of column beads. And I am going to add another, and I have to make sure I have enough for both sides. So I've used 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And so I've used, oh no, I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to need an extra one. I might have to make more for the second, for the match to this. But I'm going to add that to here. Get that nice and tight on there. And the good thing about this being a thick wire that we're stringing onto, you don't have to worry about your jump rings. Like I handmade them, and I'm not really digging that. I feel like it needs a dangle a little bit more. So I might need to add a few more jump rings. I might have to add a few more jump rings to that, or I want it to dangle a little bit lower. So I'm thinking I'm going to add a few more jump rings. So I'll show you what I did to make the jump rings. I used some 18 gauge, and this is craft wire. So it's not, it's softer than your German style wire. And then let's grab my, sorry that my arm is going over. And so I'm just going to use my nylon jaw pliers and straighten that out. And then when I get to cutting them, I will get you back over to Stacie's mat. And I just want to look to see which one I used. So on the 6-stepper, I used the 3rd one. And all I do, actually, I might have used these too. So let me see which one I used. I feel like I used one of these. Maybe not. No. These are just 2 sizes. And then these are the small ones. And then there's a larger one. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with this. And I am just going to start wrapping around. And I'm just going to continue going around until I have enough. So I just make up a coil. And then, are there such things, and I don't know this, but is there such a thing of double flush cutters?
I have not heard of them, but that doesn't mean they don't exist.
I would love that. I mean, I can very easily take my jewelry saw. I have a jewelry saw, but if I'm just wanting to make quick jump rings, I'm just wondering. Hi, Ruth. Thank you for joining us.
Because I do think a saw is like how they're kind of done.
Yeah.
Professionally.
Yes. So I just go back and forth. So now I need to do a little bit of a flush cut on this side.
That's what I do.
And then come over and do the flush cut. I don't know. Lena might know. Lena knows. She would know.
She would.
And so I have a little bit of waste, which I don't like waste at all. But, you know, sometimes you have to do a little bit. Okay, now that I'm doing this, are you ready for me to pan over to you?
I'm ready.
Of course. Let's get, and I'm knocking on wood that my laptop hangs in there. Okay. Ooh.
So I have the beads strung on the wire where I've got a wrapped loop on one end. And then I am just going to come in and put a wrapped loop on the other end. And I am just going to make sure it's going the same direction as the other one. Yep.
I have to have stuff going in the same direction too.
Well, it's going to be a problem for a necklace. I mean, I can fix it later, but I'd prefer not to.
So, you know what I'm thinking of is my wrapping. The front has to be the same on both sides. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know this is not going to sit right if I don't get it the same way, but it's wire, so you can fix it, so that's okay. So I just went in with my chain nose pliers, and then I'm going to come back in, and instead of using a round nose pliers, I am actually just going to use the second one, and I just have the 6-step bail making pliers. It's kind of an all-in-one.
Yes.
And it's funny, I bought this for something to make bails, and I almost never make bails with it, but I use it to make, loops and pieces all the time. It's probably one of the pieces or one of the tools that I bought that I use a ton and never thought I would.
Yep.
So just wrap that around. Sometimes with the bail making pliers, it's not perfectly aligned. There's like a little gap, and you actually will just, sorry, off again. You just roll that back so that it's lined up like it is here. And then I just need to go in, grab that. So don't grab where it crosses, grab the loop part. And then I just need to wrap that. Trying to decide if, I think if I squinch these a little more, yeah, I can get 3. With this crystal here, I don't want to push my luck in making it too tight.
Yes, good point.
Been there, done that. It does not end well. You end up chipping the thing, and then you get to cut the whole thing apart and start over. So that part I would not recommend. So err on the side of less wraps versus more. I still have a little bit of room, like these move around. That's how you kind of know you've got the right amount of wrapping, not too much. This is a big enough piece I'll actually save. I can make a pendant piece out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just come in, straighten things out very carefully, put this end down a little bit more without cracking the crystal. So then this is basically what you have for a bar necklace. And then you can just gently kind of shape this however you want. I just use my hands to do it. I mean, I guess you could wrap it around a form or something too. Sometimes I find it easier to look at if it's on a surface versus my hands.
Oh yeah,
so
good point.
That's basically the piece. And then you just need something to basically kind of put the chain on it. And I'm leaning actually toward just going with some chain on this one.
Are you going to make it an over the head?
Like probably not. I don't know. Bar necklaces I make shorter length. I don't have a reason for it. Somehow in my head, that's what they seem like to me. I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Would you make it an over the head?
I don't think so. I think I would have it kind of a short, not a short, but not
shorter.
Yeah, kind of short. I think I would make it short.
Okay.
Yeah, just because then it's sitting on your neck, and then when you make a short necklace, what does that lead to? That opens the door for having layering.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going just a total different direction. Because, and I don't know if I'm just not going to maybe not have the thick bead on there, but I'm just kind of messing with other ideas here while I'm watching you and watching some of the, let's see, Stacie is the right professional ways to stall. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know if there was like a dual type.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I'd buy it.
So, I would too.
I don't know if you could make such a thing. Like there may be some sort of reason you can't make that from an engineering standpoint. Like it just wouldn't work. But I totally would want one.
That would be something to really, can you imagine? That would be pretty cool. Because not everybody, has a saw, right? And then there's a lot of people that, I mean, I like making my own jump rings because I like for all of my metals to match. And that's what I like about Silver Silk, is that Silver Silk, all of his, and I'm not even on camera, even though I'm not centered on there. But all of his metals match, and that's pretty stinking cool in my book. All right. This is not the prettiest. I'm going to be redoing this big time.
Do you want to shift over to you?
Sure. So that everybody can see my failure.
Oh, no, there's no failure.
Yes, I have a failure.
There's just works in progress.
It is work in progress. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. So what I ended up doing was I did a little bit of a really bad loop. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to put a bead in between there. And, you know, I've always said speed does not equate to accuracy. Well, I need to really practice what I preach here. So what I'm wanting to do is have some dangles in here, and then I want more dangles. And I'm just going to have to get the lengths right. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those projects that it's like, you know what? You'll see it after I work on it offline.
I'm actually going to grab some chain.
And Lori says that is gorgeous. Well done, Stacie. I think I'm just trying to force that big bead in there. And I feel like if I just kind of keep things a little simple. Ooh. Okay, here we go.
So I had not planned ahead in terms of what I was doing with this. So I now have my giant bag of chain reaction because I'm pretty sure that I have a color that looks like this. Oh darn, it does look like it's silver.
Well, I will tell you, even though I knew I was going to use silver silk, I had no idea what I was going to do. And I really wanted to get one of those beads on there just to show how those nice large hole beads, how they complement. My granddaughter actually made my 4-year-old granddaughter made a bracelet using silver silk and Jesse James beads, because I have a bowl of beads over here that have large hole. And yeah, she wanted to use one of them. I thought, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. And so she actually used a few and made a gorgeous bracelet using silver silk too. All right, so I'm really changing things up. So now, so what I did was I just used those crystal rondelle spacers and put a jump ring through them and making some dangles. I did wire wrapping on one of those cubes, and now I'm going to add one of those guys in the middle. This guy is going to go away just for a little bit. I will use him, but he will be another day, and I'm probably going to make a bracelet with it. So now let's go ahead, and I'm going to use one of these gorgeous teardrop beads, and I feel like I want to do it upside down. Ooh, I feel like I want to do it upside down. And I think this is my inner Lena coming out, because Lena Gillespie Designs, Lena has so many incredible pieces, and some of the stuff that she does with these beads are...
She's super creative.
So creative. So I'm going to wire wrap this here. And she works with some incredible beads, and like I said, her designs are amazing. All right, so now let's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm loving her new acrylic beads that she just designed with John Bead. And I was telling her I'm not always the biggest fan of acrylic beads, so
yeah,
they're very fancy acrylic beads.
Yeah, she's very, very talented. Very talented. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to string this on, and this is going to go in the middle, and we're going to use, again, some of these here, these jump rings that we made up, and need to get them closed up a little bit. That's the thing about doing the back and forth. Sometimes my round jump ring just doesn't look round anymore after I get done with it. Okay, let's do that. And I'm really weird about having things face a certain way. And let me see if this is long enough. And I'm just putting this on. Oh my goodness. It was that bead. And it's that bead going upside down. That's what I needed. Okay, so now I'm going to thread on this. And then this one only has one jump ring. So we're going to grab one jump ring. I'm loving these. I love them. Have you ever sat down to force a design and you're just like, I can't do it?
Or occasionally, my favorite is I put something together that I love and I leave it sitting there, and then I look at it the next day and I don't like it at all, and I completely change it up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I have these caps that I can put on that I can use, or I can actually stuff that with wire. And when I do the pictures for these, I will include both ways. And, oh, I made this one longer. This one here, this crystal rondelle is a little bit longer, and I think I kind of dig it. So I will do the same thing on that side and mirror it. So you see how I had an extra jump ring on this rondelle spacer than this one?
Yeah.
But I kind of dig it.
Looks good.
Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is you'll see me kind of twisting with my thumb and my index finger, and I'm just priming that end because the wire won't fray. Sometimes you'll get little wire fuzzies, but it won't fray. But I just like to kind of prime it before I stuff it into the I'm sorry, you're seeing my arm, until I stuff it into this component. Then to close it up, I am going to use some flat nose pliers, and these have been dipped in Tool Magic. And as you can see the metal coming back through, I need to do that again. But I'm going to crimp up here where it's kind of rubberized. It is a really cool coating, and I just dip it in Tool Magic, let it sit for like 24 hours, and then I'll dip it again. But it saves. You'll see here that he has his silver silk emblem or his design on these end caps. And so I don't want to scratch it up, and I don't want to scratch up the finish. So now what I'm going to do is line that up and stuff this through those two channels. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with my flat nose, make sure I have everything kind of all situated, and give it a squeeze. And then I always flip it and give it another squeeze, and flip it and give it another squeeze. So there we have that. Now, if you wanted more like if you want to be able to form this a little bit more, you can stuff like some wire. So let's do this. If I wanted to form it a little bit, this is just some 26 gauge German style wire. And I can just stuff it to the end, just like that. And only using it to keep its shape. You see how now, and it's not very flimsy because I have that wire in there, and it'll hold its shape a little bit more too. Does that make sense? And so you can stuff it, and then I can kind of reshape it a little bit more, just like that. So a couple of different ways to do this. And yeah, all I'll need to do is grab an ear wire, which he also has ear wires, the bald ear wires, and it's the same finish too. But that's what we got. Kind of cool for Halloween.
Yeah, those are fun.
Okay, let's pull on, because I think, did you end up getting your...
I did. I made a decision. So I was all super excited because I'm like, I have a chain reaction that matches exactly, but it didn't. Mm-hmm. It was silver. And I decided that I was not digging it together. I love the like little pink crystals on here, but I was like, nope. So we'll leave the whole pile off of the screen. But I did find this chain that did come from Jesse James Beads, and I can't remember which collection, but somehow I've got this left. And so decided that I would go with this one to finish it off. Still needs a clasp, but so it's not finished off.
Oh, that is so pretty. So
but I
pretty.
like that. Yeah.
And it looks like Lena is, oh, and Lena says thanks. It's her job. Aw.
Well, she does it quite well.
Oh, yeah, she does. All right. So I'm going to bring us, and I will take pictures, and Stacie will take pictures of her design, her two designs.
I will too.
And we will make sure that we do that whole, I'm going to take us out and pull us back in there. And then we'll be sure to, with Instagram, you can do that collab where I'm on her post, she's on my post, and you'll see that. Yeah. And I really love that. That is so awesome. So, for those of you that weren't here in the beginning, I had mentioned how Sarah James and I had been texting, and Sarah said, "Hey, is this going to be a thing?" I went, "Yeah, this is going to be a thing." So Stacie and I will come together and join at least once a month.
Yeah.
Because when she I would love to join you on another live. We did a live on your Instagram, and that was super fun, super cool. We made some designs during that live. And so watch out for us. And I'm so sorry for the late notice again. It's been a week.
I'll echo that sentiment.
Yeah, so it's been quite a week. I want to thank all of you guys for joining. Thank you, Lena. Thank you, Lori. I think there was Ruth in here, and there was Cynthia, and I hope I didn't miss anybody else that commented. And I cannot wait to see you guys on the next one. Be sure to check out Staceirabbit Jewelry Design. I will make sure to update the description for this video and include all of her ways to find her on Facebook and Instagram. And do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. It is. Yeah. It's been a little neglected, but it's one of those things is on my list to dust off. And what I should do is start moving at least some of I have a lot of Instagram short videos that I can put up there.
Yes.
So, on my to-do list, hopefully sooner rather than later.
And also too, at the very beginning, I am quickly approaching the 3,000 subscriber mark. And so when we get there, I'm going to have a really big, nice giveaway. And I'm going to pull in all of the companies that I work with and work for so that we can have a good, nice swag bag. It's going to kind of be more like a swag bag than just a giveaway, because we're going to have some Jesse James beads. We're going to have so much other stuff included in that. And in that giveaway. And Stacie, I hope you'll join me for that video.
I'd love to.
Yes. All right. So we're approaching the 1 hour mark. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Stacie, thank you so much. It is always such a pleasure and an honor to have you here.
Same.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.